Hey there. Hi, how's it going? Thanks for joining me again. Thanks for checking in. So I got a lot of stuff planned. I've done a lot of the kind of prep work on the top of the boat to get that top deck finished off. And I think we're going to start to see the fruits of that labor pretty soon here. So my plan is to get started on some primering and the last bit of sanding. Obviously the sanding comes first and then the primering. And then I think I'll be ready to get after it with some paint. A little bit worried about the weather. Looks like it's starting to take a turn for the wet here coming up, so I might have to adjust accordingly and do a little inside work or garage work. Maybe I'll get started on some varnishing. But thanks for checking in. Let's get after it. I got a lot of stuff to do this week, so we'll keep the boat moving along. Let's go. Okay, well, it's time for a quick check-in here on the progress of the top side. So I've got several layers of Bondo down here over the mast step. I think I'm close to that one being the last one. We'll see once I get a little sanded done. And then I did one more patch over on these corners down here. There, so that's where that's at. So if I'm about done, then one last little sanding job everywhere to smooth things off, and it'll be primer city. So hopefully that'll be the next thing you see me doing, is slapping down some primer. What do you think that weather's gonna do, Bonnie? Okay, so I have got my rollers, my roller handle, my pans for the primer. I got my primer. I got my boat. I got rain coming. Rain coming, so I'm not going to be doing any painting today. Probably pretty much all day long, according to all the... I got like 4 weather apps on my phone, and they all say the same thing. They're saying it's going to rain all day, which is good. I'm not complaining because we need the rain. So instead, I'm going to do a little varnishing today, I think. So this piece is the handle that I built to put on top of the hatch to slide the hatch open. So I've been reading this old book, and I'm all scared of varnishing because he makes it sound like it's tough, but I'm gonna give it a whirl. So I went and got some tack cloth so I can wipe off the thing. a couple of little buckets here for a little bit of varnish. I got my varnish here that I bought from West Marine online, and foam brushes, which in the book he said are the way to go. So I think I got everything I need. Gonna close the garage door and button myself up in here because it's starting to get windy out there, and what I don't want is dust and dog hair blowing on my varnish. So I've got bigger pieces to go if I get these done well, but I figure this one's one I made by myself anyway. It's probably the best candidate for a dry run, or if you will, of doing this varnish. So I might just set the camera on the tripod right here for a little bit while I work, and we'll see how we do. Okay, well there's one of those sideboards kind of finished up with its first coat. Looking pretty good so far. So 1 of 5 coats according to the can. So first of 5, but that did work a lot better to go get some foam rollers. So went a little faster, so cool. Moving right along. So I'm gonna do the other side of the hatch handle, and then I think everything's just got to sit and dry overnight. So we're almost done for today. Okay, there we have it. First coat of primer on there. Stopped where I just did where I'd sanded. So it's obviously gonna want another coat, but don't you rain. Well, I'm getting to the point where I'm not even surprised anymore when I find a new surprise around the corner. So here we go down into the front, I guess, bilge. And I know that I plugged off the toilet here, so there's two inlets, an outlet, a inlet and outlet. But as I was getting ready to get some primer down on this area, I took the sander to it, and lo and behold, there's some more Bondo. Damn it. So what it looks like is there was a through hole there, a crack here. I don't know what all's going on down there. I mean, it's the keel is covering that, I believe, up to that point or close to it. Maybe not. So maybe he ran aground somewhere out there. Anyway, little more fiberglass work to do. I'm gonna lay a sheet of fiberglass down over that whole mess and goop it up really good, cover it up and seal it, and then at least I'll know that, well, there was a little Bondo down there and something happened at some point. Obviously, I never saw it when I was bottom coating the thing, so it was fixed up from the bottom. But I'll just put a patch over the top, and that way we'll be good and safe and sound knowing that it's handled. So here we go, one more batch of resin and a little bit more fiberglass work, and then I'm ready to primer this inside. I've done the window areas. They're ready to be primed. And this area is nearly ready. I gotta sand that down a little bit, but this area is close. And I'll start working on that and prime these up. And then we'll get next batch. I'll put one more coat of primer at least, so I got two good solid coats there, and then we'll be ready to start to paint. And then we can rebed those windows, and I'll be pretty much buttoned up except for way at the front. If you can see where my Haas flute, whatever, I can't remember the name of that word. I'll find it and put it down here somewhere. But that scoop thing, the air inlet at the front there has got to be finished up. And I noticed there was a little bit of a gap around that hole between the top layer of fiberglass that I laid back down and my resin I built up. So I'm going to see if I can track down a big syringe or something and kind of squirt a little resin back in there and seal up around that. If I can't, I'll just do some thick resin, some epoxy, like home glue or something to kind of seal that up. So if water does leak down around that thing, it can't go intrude back underneath my newly bonded top, because we never want water in there ever again. Don't want to deal with that again. So here we go, a little more fiberglass work. Yay! Okay, well, I've been busy, and I think we can start to finally see some progress and light at the end of the tunnel on at least the foredeck here. So basically, I've put a coat of primer all up in there, and here's the end result of the bilge area. So, like I said, I fiberglassed a piece of fiberglass in there. I put kind of gooped a piece around that outlet for what used to be the toilet in there. And these ugly, ugly corners now look quite less ugly. And here's that mast support all the way across over to that side. I've primed around the windows, so I primed the whole top, as it turns out, but yeah, so there we have it. The boat's a mess inside. Might get about to the point where it's time to do a little cleaning, but I'm cautiously optimistic that the project work, the really difficult, scratch your head and think about it kind of stuff is done. Hopefully you don't have to mix up any more Bondo anywhere along the line, and it's ready to start putting stuff back in. I've still got to hunt down somebody who can make me some chain plates. But that's about it. So the windows will be kind of the next major project after we get some paint on around the areas where the windows are going in. I want them all painted before the windows go in, and then I've got some of that 3M marine bonding material and that butyl tape that will seal those up well. And I'll put the cowl vent back up in the front up there. And then really I've got, this kind of stuff right here, the rollers and so forth to put back on, seal those up as they go on, and should be watertight again on the top. So no more rotting and delamination and all that other four-letter words for boats. So anyway, thanks for checking in with me. This has been a busy, I think it's been about 2 weeks, but I feel like I got a lot done. So now it's the cosmetic stuff, and then kind of closing these big holes in the side, and we'll be rocking and rolling. So I'm going to get busy. Thanks.